Whipstaff Manor. It's a piece of architecture designed to keep people out, or perhaps to keep secrets in. We all remember Casper as the heartwarming 1995 film about a friendly ghost looking for a friend. It's a story of grief, letting go, and growing up. But there has always been one narrative thread that unravels if you pull on it just a little too hard. The death of Casper McFadden. The movie tells us he stayed out too late sledding, caught a chill, and died of pneumonia. It is tragic, simple, and clean. But what if I told you that story is a fabrication? A lie constructed by a grieving, unhinged mind to cover up scientific ambition gone wrong. Today, I'm going to argue Casper didn't die of natural causes. He died as a human test subject for the Lazarus machine, and that machine failed. Let's look at the hardware. The Lazarus machine, this device, is not something that you would throw together in a few weeks of grief. This is a steampunk marvel of engineering. It involves complex fluid dynamics, alchemy, and mechanical automation. The official narrative suggests J.T. McFadden, Casper's father, built this after Casper died to bring him back. But look at the sheer scale of it. This represents years, perhaps a decade of work. My theory? J.T. McFadden was building this machine while Casper was alive. He was obsessed with the boundary between life and death long before his son passed. And like any great inventor, he needed a test subject. He couldn't test it on a corpse because he needed to verify the transition of the soul. He needed a living subject to die and be brought back immediately. Casper wasn't a boy who tragically died, inspiring a machine. He was the reason the machine was built. Now let's address the sledding memory Casper recalls. I begged my dad to get me this sled. I stayed out too late. It got cold. Pneumonia is not a heart attack. It doesn't kill a healthy 12-year-old boy overnight. It is a progressive illness. Fevers, coughing, weeks of decline, maybe even years. If Casper had truly gotten sick from the cold, his father, a wealthy inventor, would have had doctors, medicine, and most importantly, heat. But look at the father's reaction.
For no reason at all. I took it out, went sledding all day, and my dad said that's enough, but I couldn't stop. I was having so much fun. It got late, got dark, got cold, and I got sick. My dad got sad.
It's not just sadness, it is guilt, panic. Why is the sled kept in the basement, next to the secret lab entrance? It's not a keepsake, it's a prop. I propose that the sledding story is a false memory that was planted and reinforced by Casper's father to explain his sudden death to the authorities, and to Casper's ghost. Casper died in the lab. The cold he felt wasn't the snow. It was the chill of the Lazarus chemical process. Now the movie shows us a newspaper clipping. McFadden declared legally insane. The town believed he was crazy because he claimed he was haunted by his son. But let's look at this through a forensic lens. In the 19th or early 20th century, if a wealthy man's son dies suddenly in a suspicious way, and a machine is found in the basement, questions are asked. Insanity was often a legal shield to prevent a hanging. If JT McFadden had admitted, "I put my son in a machine to stop his heart and restart it, but it didn't work," he would be executed for murder. But if he claims, "My son died of a chill, and now his ghost is talking to me," he gets committed to an asylum. The haunting story was his defense strategy. He wasn't haunted by a ghost. He was haunted by what he did and the consequences. Throughout the first half of the film, Casper has no memory of his life. "I don't remember," he says. Ghosts in lore often forget the mundane, but they rarely forget the trauma of their death, unless they are repressing it. Why did Casper forget? Because the truth is too painful to reconcile. He idolized his father. To remember that his father strapped him into that chair, the chair that Dr. Harvey sits in later, would turn his friendly spirit into a vengeful one. When he finally remembers the sled, note how convenient it is. It's a soft, fairy tale death. It preserves the image of his father as a loving, grieving man. It is the only reality that Casper's psyche can handle. JT McFadden wasn't a monster in the traditional sense. He was a man blinded by scientific arrogance. He thought he could conquer death, and he used his own son as a vessel and test subject to do it. The tragedy of Casper isn't that a boy died of pneumonia. The tragedy is that a boy was sacrificed by his father for the sake of ambition and spent the next 100 years haunting the very laboratory where he was betrayed and murdered, protecting the legacy of the man who killed him. Psychologically, this trauma manifests as a spectral Stockholm syndrome, where Casper's signature friendliness is reinterpreted as a fawning survival response. He is pathologically polite because his subconscious harbors a deep-seated fear that any deviation from this friendly persona would shatter his current reality, forcing him to confront the horrific betrayal from his father. By maintaining this mask, Casper avoids the existential dread of acknowledging his primary caregiver was his executioner. Casper's amnesia serves as a literal dissociative wall, surgically separating the sanitized childhood memories he clings to from the industrial experiment he actually endured. By physically and mentally burying the Lazarus lab beneath a mountain of toys and nostalgic relics, he remains in a state of arrested development. This compartmentalization allows him to spend eternity protecting the legacy of the man who killed him for scientific progress.